What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Create Above and Beyond, and today we are going to be setting up an ME system. Before we get into all that fun Applied Energistics 2 stuff later on in the video, the first thing that I want to go over is actually our build from last episode, which is the 4x ore processing that's in front of me right now. And I will say this thing has been working perfectly. If we take a look in this chest, we have the iron that we processed last episode that we got 4x ore processing on, and then I've got a fair bit of copper here that I mainly processed while I was checking a couple things after the video and also trying to get a thumbnail, which sometimes can take a little bit to do. Now, I don't really plan on using this all that much, as I've said, but there were two different things that you guys commented that are upgrades that can be made to this that will be pretty significant. And for those of you that do plan on using this in your world, I figured it's important for us to go over those. And because I always appreciate you guys helping me upgrade these builds, so I like to acknowledge the great comments that you guys give by showing them early on in a video so that everyone gets to see them. So the first one is this guy right here, this nugget cast, which I was very proud of using last episode, actually isn't what we should be using for this setup. So to explain why, I am going to quickly run over to our 2.1x ore processing setup, and it's looking like I might need to sleep in a minute here, but I first want to get through what I have to say about this. So this setup right over here is the 2.1x ore processing, or whatever fraction it ends up actually being. It's like 2 1/9 times ore processing, so close enough. But this setup right here, we can see it has one big issue, and I actually pointed this out in the video. It is this right here. You are ending up with a fraction of an ingot every time you process something, and eventually, unless you have a specific cast for each different type of metal, and you filter out with each of the outputs that specific type of metal, you are going to run into a backup where you have partial filled casts and then nothing else can come out and nothing will be able to be casted because it's not full. And so the way you get around this was a great suggestion from all of you, which is use a nugget cast, because the nugget is the smallest fraction you are producing. And so because we get an extra nugget every time, we'll never run into a backup, because you can just cast every single nugget and then compact them in a drawer to eventually get out all your ingots. And that's a great solution. It saves you from having to filter out all the different metals. It saves you from having to deal with a bunch of different outputs and all that junk. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's great. I appreciated the suggestion from like 15 of you in the comments, maybe even more than that. And I got so excited. I was like, oh man, I really want to use this in a future setup. And so the minute I started making the 4x ore processing, I thought I was being really smart, thinking, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to show them now. I read their comments. It was a great suggestion. That's awesome. We'll use the nugget cast. Well, I was actually kind of stupid because I was so gung-ho to use your suggestion that it never occurred to me that it was only beneficial because we had a fraction of an ingot being produced. Whereas here, every time 3 dust is mixed with 1 matter ball, we get out exactly 2 ingots, meaning that we never end up with a fraction. So we can just use a regular boring ingot cast. So little bit of a my bad on that. This will be way faster. And it was also brought up too that with the nugget cast, as I suspected last episode, I think I mentioned this in the episode, but we waterlogged this casting table. And I was told that this would help speed up the process of actually casting stuff. The thing is, the nugget casting is so fast that I didn't think it could be any faster. Now, again, I don't even know if that's true that waterlogging this does help, but the fact that you can waterlog it leads me to believe that maybe it does. So I figured maybe with the ingot cast, because that's a bit slower to actually dry, harden, whatever you want to call it, maybe it'll actually be sped up by this. So this should be a wicked large efficiency increase. And also, then we don't have to worry about getting a bunch of nuggets out and either crafting them or compacting them to get all the ingots that we want. So this right here is upgrade number 1. And that's a really easy one to deal with. The next one is arguably even better, and that is this matter condenser right here. I said would be the bottleneck for this setup. And as you can see, it is storing energy in here. It's built up a fair bit of matter balls, but I've been on here for a while and it hasn't even totally backlogged itself. So today we're going to be changing from using items to using fluids. And I didn't even know this was possible, but apparently it is. Now, I basically never use Applied Energistics 2. It's been probably 5 or 6 years since I've touched this. So I have no idea that this, works, but thanks to you guys, I figured it out. So if we come back here, I'm going to grab up all this stuff right here. And I'm thinking that I need to grab up the lava first because I don't want to die. And I also always forget to recollect lava. And then I run out and I'm trying to record an episode and then I have to go get it. And it's just a huge pain. So we're going to get rid of all this stuff right here. And I'm actually going to leave the water for now because we're going to need a lot of this. But if we grab out some glass and we get out our aqueous accumulator and a fluid cell, we're going to be inputting water in here just from a single aqueous accumulator. And you should have seen there about how fast it was going to make the matter balls when I looked in there before. So if I clear this out just so we can walk under, we'll put the fluid cell, we'll orient it so that we can see the nice front right there. So we'll put this right next to this. Another suggestion from you guys. Technically, I could kind of reorient this so that I could just have one of the modular reconfigurations. Actually, I don't think I can because the aqueous accumulator can't have that. So you can put it in, but this is one where you can't actually set outputs. So never mind. We do need to use the fluid cell or some kind of pipe to pull stuff out into here. And as you guys said, this fluid cell acts like a single block pipe that can automatically input and output to avoid having to use rotational power with Create. But with this right here, we're then going to have the aqueous accumulator with water on all 5 of the other sides inputting into this. Now, I think it works the same in this pack, that having water on more sides increases the rate at which it generates water internally. I don't know that's the case, but I'm assuming because that's how it typically works. So there's very few ways we can increase the rate of water production in a single accumulator, but one of them is these integral components, and I finally made the highest tier just because I wanted to get this as fast as I could. And then we're just going to get down as much water as we can around this. So all 5 other faces will have water, which means I gotta kind of cover some of this stuff up. It's gonna get a little bit messy in here, I guess. So I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. So we're going to need water there. Okay, not bad. Then water over here. This one will be a bit easier. There we go. And then we got our infinite pool down here. I think I could also just grab it from inside here. Then we'll do, you know what? I probably need to grab out a bit of cobblestone here so that I can actually place these down fast. I don't think there's anything around here that breaks due to water, but it still bothers me when it spills out everywhere. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then the last one will be here, and then the final one will be down here, but we'll do that once we leave. So we'll do that, and that, and that, and then grab those, and I guess we can get rid of these now. So let's just block that off right there, and there. Got rid of the water, get back all our igneous extruders, and then we should be good to place down the last bucket of water right here. And I'm not having any more regular stones, so this looks like kind of a mess right here, but this should be good now. It should have water on all 5 of its sides. It should have the integral component in it, which means it should be going as fast as it possibly can. And now all we got to do is that should be the back face. If we set this to auto input, look at how fast that's generating water there. And then auto output should be to the left. And look at this. Look at this thing. It is so unbelievably fast compared to before. With one single aqueous accumulator, it is insane. This was by far and away one of the best suggestions I've ever gotten from you guys. And obviously, this is a matter condenser, and matter is everything. So it was kind of like a duh moment, right? But I totally didn't think about that. So I really appreciate that suggestion from you guys too. You can in fact use liquids, and it goes so much faster. I don't see any reason that you would need more than a single upgraded aqueous accumulator for this, because there's no way you would be processing this much. So now I just want to throw some of our ore in here that I went and mined intentionally to check this out. And I think if we flip this, there we go, it'll trigger and we can watch it work. So it looks like it's doing a good job. Now it's got gold in here. It's going to have to cast all this gold before it can actually go and... Oh, it's making more gold right now. Okay. So we'll just, we'll let that work. And one other thing I want to quickly address. I know this is taking forever for us to get to what I actually want to do this episode, but a lot of people have commented, not a lot, but a couple people have commented about my use of the trade stations. And in this case, it's buying blaze cakes. And, you know, they weren't really happy about my purchasing of a bunch of stuff. So I just want to say I have automated the production of blaze cakes in a series before. It was an entire episode, 40-minute build. It took a really long time. It would be either, even harder in this series to do. So I don't plan on doing that. A lot of people think I'm just like cheesing the pack with trading, but trading is a huge part of this pack. There's like 3 different chapters just to trading, and it's one of the 2 sections in this pack. So unfortunately, I apologize to those of you that might be upset by my use of the trading. I'm not going to just cheese everything. I'll still make builds, but in cases like this where I could either make something that's 50 times as big and time consuming as this just to make blaze cakes, or I could buy them, I'm just going to buy them. So again, I apologize if that bothers you guys, but it's part of the pack. I don't plan on intentionally hamstringing myself just to make an extra couple episodes here and there of stuff I've already done before. So this setup is pretty much done. If you guys have any more suggestions, you can feel free to let me know, but I think we'd be hard pressed to make this any better. So now it's daytime out, and that means it is time for Applied Energistics 2. Which is a mod that I am really not familiar with. So I haven't touched it in like 5 or 6 years. It's been ages. I've been doing refined storage stuff when I do actually have mod packs that contain it. And it's not because I don't like Applied Energistics. It's just because most packs just have refined storage instead of AE2. So my plan is to get rid of this stuff right here. All these old chests that contain a bunch of this miscellaneous junk right here that we don't really need. I'm going to get rid of this, or I'm going to move it for now. And then I plan on setting up a little area over here for our ME system and doing at least a basic one. I've crafted up a fair bit of stuff in here, some storage drives and stuff for us. So that should be a good starting point. But if you're an AE2 expert, you're going to cringe at this. I guarantee you're going to cringe. So either post something really helpful in the comments or just like, I don't know, stick your fingers in your ears and close your eyes because man, this is going to be real painful for you. Okay, well, things probably look a little bit weird here, but to give you guys a rundown of what I did, I moved everything into chests over here. And again, this is just, these things are a total mess. I should probably sort through a bunch of these and ditch the stuff I don't really need. Like, why do I need these crossbows from when I got raided? Why do I need this partially broken iron helm or this flower pot? I don't know. But over here, my plan is to kind of make this like an overgrown sort of hill. And obviously this is the path we're supposed to take. This right here I need to work on. I'm still manually using this press, but I should probably move this and kind of cover up this area a bit more so it's not a little cheaty walkthrough that I keep using. But my goal then is to put sort of an ME system over here with a bunch of stuff underground, and maybe I'll access the underground portion from over here or something. And that'll hopefully blend it into like the town center. I'm probably going to redo this. Maybe I'll make it something different. But for now, that's my plan. And once we have stuff set up in here, sort of as like a, it's flush with the wall here, maybe I'll redo some of it, put some stone in, rework it. I don't really know. But for now, it's my tentative plan. And I really just care about getting this set up to start cleaning up some of my chests and all that junk around the base. Now, it's occurring to me that this thing is perfectly symmetrical, which wasn't my intention. And so that's a bit weird. And also the fact that I'd love to have a central block for our ME controller, but that's not looking like it's going to be the case. So maybe I'll just lose it and put down 2 ME controllers. I don't really know. Maybe I'll adjust the way that this looks in a bit so that there is a central block, but I'm thinking that I am going to make the central portion right here, sort of, with my wickedly overpowered shovel. And so we'll have our ME controller over here, and that'll be that. So if we go into my bag, I have a bunch of stuff that I made from basically the dummies beginner guide for AE2. So I've got the ME controller, I've got a disk drive, I've got some stuff for auto crafting, then I've got a bunch of different terminals. So we got the interface one, which I think is for setting up crafting. We've got the crafting one, which is obviously for self-crafting, and then the pattern terminal, which is for making patterns for auto crafting. Got a bunch of blank patterns. I got some really low tier storage cells. This is pretty abysmal for starting out, but until we automate crafting of stuff, it's going to be kind of painful to make the bigger ones, and I really don't feel like doing that. And then I've got some cables and an ME interface. So I'm also planning on using some ender chests that I crafted and some numismatic dynamos to power this. So I think 2 should be fine, especially if we upgrade them. But I'm thinking we are going to place down our controller. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I don't want it to be on the bottom. But the problem is, if we don't put it on the bottom, then that looks kind of weird, I feel like. If we put it like right here and then put like a terminal over here, is that going to look okay? It'll probably look okay. Let's do that and we'll see. I can always move this stuff later. It's not super critical that it is exactly the way I planned it, but we're going to set up our ME controller right there. We'll put a disk drive down here or an ME drive. The disk drive, I'm messing this up with refined storage. We'll put the ME drive down here. We can put both of these 4Ks in here. And the part that concerns me is like the 0 out of 63 types. So I'm assuming that has to do with like item types, which is why I want to avoid all the miscellaneous items. It's going to be one item taking up an entire type, but not really using many of the bytes. So trying to avoid that. And then we are going to clear out this area right here. And I have my bed on me, so I should put this down. I broke it. I should put this down right here just so that it's not nighttime. There might be phantoms spawning at this point too with how little I sleep. But now we've got this, so we should be good to connect it with some cables over to some of these interfaces. So the first and most important one, I assume, is the crafting terminal. And this, obviously it needs power, but this will be just like the generic crafting one. And then I'm trying to think of where I want to put the other ones. So we've got the interface terminal and then the pattern terminal, and the auto crafting stuff is probably going to go underground for now because I don't really need to access it. So I'm thinking maybe these will go, maybe I'll put down another drive down here since we'll need more of them. And then the other two I can put like either over here. Maybe I keep the whole bottom row of drives and then I don't actually even know. You know what? I don't even know. This is going to bother me. Let's get the power to this thing first and then I'll figure that out in a bit. So we need to hook up power in the back here. I'm just going to come all the way around and we need the power to go into the controller, I believe. So we're just going to put down some flux ducts and we can probably handle all of this like right back here since we don't really need this room for anything else. So if we just put down 2 flux ducts right there, we probably, you know what? We probably only need 1. So let's just put down a numismatic dynamo right there. And then I don't think we can upgrade this with modular reconfiguration. Yeah, so we're going to have to use 2 pretty pipes to pull into this. So we'll take our ender chest and we can put that, I'm trying to think now where we want to put this because this is the one pain about pretty pipes, the huge pain that I really, really, really dislike. So if we put this ender chest right here and we need to set the colors on it, can I happen to access that from down here? If I place one of these down and set the colors and then break it, it should retain those, right? We're going to do coins. So I'm just going to set the middle one to be gray. And does this retain its color? It should. Yes, it does. Nice. Okay. So we'll just break this one and then place this down here. So this is with the gray in the middle. And then we're going to put down our pipes right here into there. And then we're going to use a retrieval module so it doesn't oversend, and just got to get an empty hand. Retrieval module. And then I am going to have to set silver coins in here. I don't have any more in my bag. So we'll just come over and grab them from here. So we need 1 silver coin just to set the filter for this. Not that one, this one right here. There we go. So now it should pull from here the silver coins. And then over here, we just have to, I think we had something underground that was pretty pipes pulling from this. So I'm thinking if we come down over here, yes, we do. Okay, so we have an entire pretty pipe system here. Do any of these have upgrades in them already? No. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this right here. And we'll just put down the ender chest right over here. And we'll just recolor this. This is coarse dirt and more coarse dirt. Okay. We'll recolor this like that. And then we can put down 1 more pretty pipe. And this can be set to, is this set to an extraction? Yeah. So this is, oh no, it's sending gold in here. No, I'm just going to put a retrieval module in there and put a silver coin so it hopefully filters it. Will that work? No, don't flip the coin. Oh my gosh. I really don't like pretty pipes, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really don't. Okay. There we go. Is that good? Is that working? Yes. Okay. It should be working. So it should be pulling. That'll fill up. And then this over here should start to work. It is. Look at all the pretty colors. That's changing really fast. Is that changing faster than it normally is? That's like going to give me a seizure. Oh my God. That seems way worse than it normally is. I don't know about you guys, but that seems really fast to me. but it's changing colors. Okay, grass will grow on those again. So we've got the power coming over here, which means technically I could go and dump my stuff back in here. I'm still wavering on how I want to set this up, but I'm guessing I can just kind of set this whole thing up and reorganize it later to see how I'm happy. So if we were just to put down this right here, we could toss down our pattern terminal, and we can put down our interface terminal like up here somewhere. So we'll put that down. No, not that. Give me that back. I wanted the cables, and then I want that. There we go, and there we go. Okay, so now we have those. Still gonna bother me, but whatever. It gets the job done. And then we could just fill this back in with dirt for now. And this should be getting, more than enough power. If we were to upgrade this, it would have way too much power then. So we don't need to upgrade that. And we're going to have to make facade for all of these, which we can finally do because AE2 has facade. Now, I think in one of these chests, I have some charged Certus quartz. I think to make the facade, we need, what is the name of it? We need cable anchors, and you can make those with either nether quartz or Certus quartz. I think we have nether quartz over here to make, right? We trade for that. We trade for both nether and Certus quartz. So I think we need 2 of it. We can go craft that, and we can use our new crafting stuff to do that. So we grab out some sticks, and what was the last thing? We need, how to craft it? Lead plate. Hey, I have lead plates over here. I made too many lead plates, and I have a bunch of them sitting over here. Haha. I thought ahead. There we go. Okay, so if we were to, dump them in here. There we go. Would you look at that? So that's how we would make our, whatever it's called, the like knife, right? What? Was it like this? Yes, it was. The cutting knife. There we go. Okay, and then we need to cut gold or iron. Did I have gold or iron sitting in any of these? I had a gold plate. I don't think so. No, I don't. Okay, well, then I guess we're coming over and grabbing some more from over here. Thank goodness for the trading area. So let's just grab like 20 should be fine. Probably, hopefully. And we can cut this in my inventory, right? Yes, okay, we get cable anchors, and then these cable anchors we have to combine with whatever blocks we want. Now, I don't know what I want to do for these. Like, do I want oak? Do I want, I don't really know. Do I want dirt? I want dirt. I don't think I want dirt, but maybe I do. So the way I guess we craft these is dirt, and then these on all 4 sides. And then if we just grab out some of these, let's see how this looks. If we just, put those down like that. Why does the shadows look really weird? It like doesn't match the dirt properly with the shadows. I'm kind of being greedy wanting the facades to match that, but that looks kind of stupid. So I'm gonna have to rethink how I want to set this whole area up. I think this is a good idea in theory, but it needs a little bit of tweaking, not during a video where I can kind of blend it in more. I don't really know. Maybe I'll make it out of like oak wood or something to match the rest of this stuff. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. But for now, we've got our controller. We've got these. We can put our patterns in here so we can set up patterns for this. And then the auto crafting, I want to do underground. So an area way below this that we will just dig down to. And if we just clear out this area for now, it doesn't need to be anything special. I'm going to come maybe down here. Is this deep enough? Let's probably go right here. This will probably be deep enough. So if I clear out a little bit of an area right here, I'll clean this up a lot later off camera. It's not worth it to do on camera, but I just need some space to work in. And we're going to set up really rudimentary auto crafting, which again, I'm sure is very, very cringy to you guys. So it's going to be run down here from some of this cable. And we are going to, based off of my initial research, we're going to be setting up something that's for not processing crafting patterns, but for just very basic auto crafting with a regular crafting grid. So we're going to put I think we can connect all of these just normally. So if I were to place down a 1K crafting storage. This is going to allow us to do apparently like 1024 operations, and everything is counted as like an operation. So if you need to craft one wood or one like plank or 4 planks from one thing of oak wood, that's technically going to be 6 operations or 6 bytes, because it's 1 oak input, 4 oak output, and 1 crafting recipe. So that's assuming that I read that correctly. So this should be fine for very basic ones, but you need a lot more in the future. And then if we just hook up the molecular assemblers, those work like crafting grids. And then we have our ME interface, which will act as the receptacle for the patterns. And so if we cover all the sides of this with these molecular assemblers, we can do a bunch of recipes that we store in there, one of the 9 recipes. And if we want to craft a bunch of them, then they will have all of these to craft with. Apparently, you can also have one molecular assembler and surround that completely by the interface. And then you can have a bunch of patterns that all go to one assembler. So you can only craft one thing at a time, but you can have a bunch of patterns for it. So there's probably a healthy middle ground somewhere, but this is just like a really basic one for mass production of a lot of very basic crafting recipes. So then if we were to hop back up, again, I am going to make like a ladder down here at some point. I can clear out this area a bit more, and let's just dig this dirt out with my overpowered shovel that is destroying everything down here. So there we go. I'm sure I'll set up a bunch of these underground, and I'll make this area pretty cool down here under the village and very techy, but we obviously need to have that area above ground just to work with. So we can head back up now. So I thought the video was over. I actually completely filmed the outro and everything, finished recording and went to go do some other stuff, and I realized I wasn't happy leaving you guys off with such a bad looking build. Even if I fixed it in the future, I was really disappointed with how it turned out. So I went back and tried to plan out what I thought would look nice. Now, there's a lot of inefficiencies here, but for the sake of symmetry, and because they'll actually be at least semi-useful to us, this is what I am left with. Now, I have not totally finished this off yet, so I need to cover up this area. Eventually, we'll have more crafting stuff down there, but I tore it all down because I'm using it up here now. I actually had to make even more stuff to go along with this, and the final thing is going to be covering these with some different kind of facade. So now I think this looks a lot better. I need the grass to grow, and I need to kind of do some work on the ground here, put some more leaves in and all that stuff. But I kind of have this overhang area here that I put some leaves down on, and it now kind of blocks off this area over here. And I can still rework this a bit, but it's forming some stuff a little bit nicer around the base, and I really like how this looks. So we've got all this stuff we had before. We've got our different terminals, the crafting, the pattern, the interface. And then I've got some more interfaces over here with some of the assemblers. I made way more interface so that if we take a look here, we've got way more patterns that we can put in. Again, they're still simple. I also have 2 of the 1K crafting storage. I'm assuming that having more of the 1K, if you had like 4 of the 1K is the same as 1 of the 4K, it just takes up more space and looks worse. So again, for symmetry's sake, and I think it looks really cool, I now have this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Most of this will end up being underground, but I think this looks really nice above ground and kind of makes the base look pretty cool and ties it together. But now I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe so you never miss out on a future one. And I will talk to you guys later.